First off is coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is often used for transmitting video, RF, and other high bandwidth information. Second is unshielded twisted pair, commonly used for high-speed data transmission as well as proprietary signal transport schemes. You can see this used most often as Cat5 or Cat6 cable, often used for network data transmission, LED video wall signals, etc. Third is shielded twisted pair cable, which is most commonly used to transmit audio and other low-speed data. Fiber-optic cable is most often used for transmitting data and very high bandwidth information over long distances. And finally, we have high current capacity multi-conductor unshielded cable, used most often for power and for speaker. Most often we talk about pulling cable, that's whenever we're pulling it up after a show has ended. Very important always to make sure that everything is disconnected so you don't go pulling a cable that's connected to a piece of equipment, potentially damaging the cable or the equipment that's attached. This is a very common concern when you're dealing with fiber optic cable, right? Fiber optic cable has very sensitive, very delicate ends, and this is why it's very important to use proper strain relief and covers. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about bend radius. You know, bend radius has been a problem, as discussed in fiber optic cable, for a long time. While it's improved drastically in recent years, it's still a consideration. You know, you never want to bend a cable too sharply, because the more you do that, the more fatigue you cause the rubber and the cable, and you risk damaging and shorting the cable. So you never really want to bend your cable any sharper than this. So next we'll talk about signal crosstalk. And this can be a real problem if you have a lot of cables bundled together. Most often you receive problems whenever you have a high current power cable run alongside an analog audio cable. This is a very common problem, and it's often recommended to not run these in close proximity parallel to each other. Fiber optic cable, one of its advantages is that it's not very susceptible to crosstalk issues and can often be run alongside power without receiving interference. Shielding helps to prevent crosstalk and noise, but it can't always prevent all of it. So best practices are always to keep separation.